Wonderful day and welcome. My name is Seth and we are back with the next weapon guide for Moveset the Frontier. It was a bit delayed this time and I apologize for that. There's a few reasons for it. One main reason was that, well, for some reason last week Mother Nature decided to hit a lightning strike next to my place somewhere and it killed my electricity. But the strange thing is, in this multi-family house, only in my apartment the electricity ran out. When I turned on up, well, PC and everything was fine, luckily enough, otherwise I would have been done for. But my modem, which was like already 10 years old at the point, died. And yeah, minus $80 to fix it and a few days without internet, but here we are now and I can go back. And the second reason is that we're tapping into some weapons now, which I usually never play or very rarely touched, so I need to like look them up myself a bit, study them a bit and check them out to bring the information over here as good as I can. And what do we go next with? Yes, the support weapon of Monster Hunter, or at least this is what people call it, but in the end it's a different version of the hammer. The Hunting Horn, the one-man band Donkey Kong drum weapon of this series. We're gonna straight up jump into Earth style as usually and check out what's going on with this weapon. And here we are with Earth style, today from the lovely holiday resort Tidal Islands. So what is Hunting Horn? Hunting Horn is kind of a different version of the hammer. It is an impact slow weapon that hits pretty decently if you hit. But the difference is that it has support features which come in forms of buffs for yourself and your team, or like your entire hunting group you have, and can be very helpful. This ranges from like simple stat increases to actually getting earplug skills or tremor resistance, etc, etc. And they are very helpful for especially multiplayer, but you can still do decent damage with this weapon and solo play with it. Hunting Horn players may be a rare breed as solo players, but they are pretty handy, and in multiplayer they just excel massively, of course. Alright, before we start now, there's an overlay on the right side of the screen for an Xbox One controller and an PS4 controller. These are there to visualize what I'm doing. I obviously gonna talk about and show off what I'm doing, but the visualization with the controller layouts will help you understand it better if you have trouble understanding me, because I'm not native English, etc. But I hope this visualization helps you. I'm playing on the controller, of course, so if you are using a keyboard or mouse, you just simply need to figure out what the corresponding actions I do on the controller is for you. So if I press the triangle button or the Y button, right, you just need to figure out, oh, is this the main attack? Well, just translate whatever is the main attack button on your keyboard layout, and then you can do the exact same thing there too. And as you maybe already heard, I'm gonna refer to the Y and triangle button, to the main attack button, and the side attack button for the B and circle button. This is just so I don't need to mention all four buttons every time and make a move with it, and helps understanding it and keep it a bit more simpler, because the other buttons are usually a bit more coherent and don't need to change the names drastically. So obviously we're gonna start with the main basic moveset, and that is the main and side attack button and the main and side attack combos. So first of all, we have the main attack button. The main attack button does a swing to the left, and this is the default direction where it goes. It hits, does impact damage, and there it goes. You can chain this indefinitely back to back, and if you do so, the attack will actually swing to both directions, left and left and right continuously. Doesn't cost any stamina, the animation is pretty slow, so you need some good positioning for this, but it's a good way to get some impact damage out there and some decent DPS when the monster is in the right position or locked down in some traps, etc. Then we have the side attack button. The side attack button does a quick step forward, which does not much damage, but it is like a little DPS increase when you don't have time to do the big swings and the monster's about to like turn around, run away, whatsoever. You can run up to it, stab it, and then get out of there. You can chain these steps 3 times in a row, and then it has a little cooldown in the animation, so you want to probably roll out of that afterwards. And then lastly but not least, we have the main and side attack button, which does the hammer smash you normally need to charge up on the hammer weapon. This is probably your main impact tool for damage and some knockout damage, because this is like probably the most strongest one here we have here right now, and the one you most likely use a lot. But the animation also is again pretty lengthy, so you need some good positioning and not like try to spam it all the time, because this can get very dangerous when you don't have the right positioning for it, of course. That's it for the base DPS attacks or the offensive attacks. Now we're gonna get into the buff mechanic. Before we do that, we're gonna check one more Frontier shenanigans out, or like Frontier Edition. And I think this was a thing in 5th gen, maybe earlier. I don't remember because it's been a while and I never really played Hunting Horn. But if you press the select button, then or the kick button, then you do a Sonic Bomb move. This move is exactly what it says. It does like a sonic wave ability, which acts just like a sonic bomb, so you can get Zephyr drums out of this or whatever. But it also counts as a hit, so you can actually help people in your team getting out of status effects like Crystal or Snowman, etc. with this attack. So if you're in the middle of combat and there's someone getting hit by snow or something, and instead of putting your weapon away, searching the item, getting the item for healing, or trying to hit them, you can just do this. This is simpler and helps a lot. Also, every time you use this, this takes a fixed amount of sharpness away. I think like 10 sharpness. So keep that in mind if you spam this sonic move. Then we need to go into the music mechanic or the buff mechanic of the weapon, because that is the highlight and the unique feature of this weapon. First of all, you can see on the top left next to the sharpness icon and under the stamina bar a new resource bar, which is unique to the hunting horn, with a hunting horn icon and then the little music note sheet next to it. This is your main tool for playing the music. And how this works is via notes. You have different colored notes. Each hunting horn has a set of 3 notes attached to them. And depending on which hunting horn you have different note sets. And depending on the note sets, you have different options for playing songs. So as we see here, this hunting horn has purple, teal, and red. And the base color or the base note usually is always the purple or white one, because these are like the base buffs for movement speed increase of yourself, etc. So these are like the base colors, and then you have different colors for the other 2. The colors range from white to blue to red to yellow to green and teal and purple, of course. And then we have also in Frontier a pink one, where we come later to, because this is important for the styles. So how do we play music? Well, this is pretty simple. You just press the R1 button to go into the, I call it the note stands, where you can play a note. To influence what note you get, you need to do different note stances. These depend on the moveset I showed you earlier, the base moveset, like the main attack, the side attack, the main and side attack. And let's check out the note stands by default. So if you enter the note stands with R1, you start playing. You can go out of this note stands with R1 again, and you can interrupt and stop before getting any notes. Going into the stands and going out of the stands and using any move while playing notes in the note stands will actually do damage. So if you go into the node and hit a monster or getting out of the node stands, this will do damage. So it does encourage a little bit of like aggressive play, staying close to the monster and playing music while getting buffs and then switching around with moves. And what I mean with this, we're gonna see here now when we play a song. We get notes. And then, depending on the node combination, we get different buffs. There we got movement speed buff. You can see next to the name of the hunters, to the left there, that they have a little node icon. This means they have the node buff acquired from you. So this is a nice tool to see if someone is lacking the buffs and if you need to reapply them. They have a timer, of course. Depending on the stance now, you get the different nodes. As you can see here, I only get purple because this is the base color I normally get. If I press the side button now, this is the same stance, but The addition is that I can do an attack, which moves me a little bit around, repositioning me, and then keep playing the music. So I can acquire buffs while playing aggressive, and each of the base attacks has a different note acquired to them. So the side attack button has the default note to it, as you can see here, and if you press then the main attack button, we're gonna go into different note stands, hit forward instead to the side, repositioning ourselves there, and then we get the teal note, as you can see. And now if we press the main and side attack button, then we go into the last stance, which gets us backwards a bit and then gives us the red note. While playing these stances, you can actually move a little bit with your hunter. This is like very subtitle slight movements. It's not really useful, but it's good to know because you can still reposition yourself while playing if you have trouble. So keep that in mind if you do it. The notes will stay as long as you have your weapon unsheathed. As you can see on the node, the resource bar I mentioned, we have the notes stored. So you can store notes to play songs a bit faster than before. So if I have already like half of the notes I need for the next song, I can just play the notes I need, and then it gives me the next buff directly. So you can stay in the fight, and then without worrying to playing all notes for a song, you can just store some of them and play the next song directly after. To keep in mind here is that as soon as you sheath your weapon, this will clear though. So if you sheath my weapon here, then the notes will disappear. So you need to stay in battle if you want to queue up or, let's say, buffer the next songs you want to play. Then additionally, you can also play the songs twice to get an additional further increase of the buff or a different version. As you saw there, I got like earlier some no bouncing off. That is because of the bass song I did, like the two bass notes, the purple ones here, where I get movement speed. But if I play the song again while having the first version of it, the movement speed increase, I will not bounce off monsters anymore. So I get the ESP buff for myself for free. This works also with other songs. So if I have an attack increase song, then I can play the song again to increase it again. Frontier has the addition also that you can quick play them directly after each other. So as an example here, we're going to do the attack up buff, and then we're going to play it directly again to get the better or the enhanced version of it. This can be done directly afterwards. The downside is that the music sheet still clears the stored notes, all of them. So you can't play like two songs in a row and then immediately like play them like the better enhanced version directly after each other. That is not possible. But you can directly play another song if you want some specific buff like on the better version immediately. So you don't need to play the notes twice. You don't only need to play them once and then can go and like trigger them twice. This is easily done with the kick or select button when you play the note song. And we're gonna play the attack plus here, which is purple. And then a double red note. As you saw there, we played the select, so we played immediately again, cleared our note sheet, but we played the song twice and got the enhanced version immediately. Pretty handy if you want specific buffs like on the go, where you don't want to like play the song twice in a row because this takes time with the different moveset, stances, etc. But this is very important to know, and there you go. Also the overhead slash with the main and side attack button, going into the stance with R1 and going out of the stance with R1 is also preventing bouncing on itself, so you don't need the bounce debuff or the bounce buff for yourself, the ESP buff, when you just attack. So you have them on nature in there, and on top of this you can also go into the node stances from the attacks directly. Let's say do the side attack button, this stabbing, and then press the R1, the music stance button, then I go directly into the music stance and play a song. As you can see here, the side attack button defaults to the default one. The tricky part here is now that if you go from the other attacks into it, they are swapped. So normally when you go into the main attack button forward, then you don't go into the forward stance, you go into the main inside attack stance. It's a bit something you need to get used to, but as you see here, when I do the main attack button and then press the music note, I go into the main inside attack stance instead of the other one, and the other way around. If I do the main inside attack button, then I go into the forward one. So yeah, something to keep in mind, and you maybe need to like quick think about this. This is like, it is swapped for these two moves, and just keep that in mind and practice this a bit, and then you probably just have the second nature as muscle memory later on. But technically this is everything to the hunting horn by default already. It's not much, and this weapon heavily depends on the support aspect of it, and I don't know what it is, but I like hunting horn because I remember in Monster Hunter United when I never played the hunting horn, I just crafted every single one just so I hear the music they can play. I just like the music bits. It's so cool. And Frontier obviously is crazy, so it has like some crazy music, etc. So let's check out on Earth Style here and then go over to Heaven Style and see what's up with that. See you in the next quest. Back with Heaven Style now. There's only one thing that changes, and that is the main inside attack button move is replaced with a new set of attack. This can be indefinitely chained and is one of the best DPS combos you can do with the hunting horn. The only problem is it steps forward, like a little bit upwards, so you need to be very close to the monster to actually effectively use it. And if you like try to hit the specific body parts, and you can't move, so it's stationary, you need to keep that in mind if you do this. So to do it, just main inside attack button, and then you start doing a stab. This stab can be definitely chained, the base is like 3 steps normally, but you can chain this indefinitely as long as you want, if you want some good DPS. As you can see there, if you keep going as an indefinite combo, there will be like some like hiccups in between the animations when you do it in the triple hit loop. You will have like some shenanigans happening here, but this is a really good DPS tool. You can stab, as you can see, and do really decent damage. And yes, this still does impact damage. So it's a very nice tool compared to the normal like impact damage combo you can normally do indefinitely, and it's way faster obviously to imply the impact damage. But that's actually everything there is to Heaven Style, this one attack change. Everything else is retained from the Earth Style set otherwise, so you can go with that. But let's check out Storm Style and I'll see you in a bit. Alright, back with the Storm Style now. Let's take a look what we have here, because this is straight up just another upgrade to the Heaven Style. We retain the entire moveset from the Heaven Style with one exception, and that is the Sonic move, or the Sonic wave is gone. As you can see here, I can press select and the kick button as much as I want, but nothing will happen. So what do we got? Well, we got the addition of the pink note. Other than that, we retain the same moveset that we had in the Heaven Style. What does the pink note do, you ask? Well, you can probably guess what it does. It extends the possible combos you can do with each hunting horn. This depends on the hunting horn. So if we look at this hunting horn here, we have the white, green, and red notes. So if I check on Farriers now, there's the hunting horn list where we can check what's going on, but I tell you later when we're back in the city, where after Extreme Style I'm going to tell you where you else can check this. But for now, we can check easily on the Farriers, the note combination we have on our weapon, white, green, red. Then we check, oh, yeah, white, green, red is there. This is like attack, defense, and health oriented. And then it shows you which Storm Style edition songs you can play. So for this hunting horn specifically, we have the cold cancel or the hot drink effect we can do. And then we have also quake resistance we can play with this. And to play pink notes, it is very simple. You just need to press and hold the select button while you're playing a note. This can't be permanently hold down, so you need to press every time the select button on each note that will play, and then this note gets, instead of its normal turn value, it gets turned into, let's say I play a red note and then hold the select button, I press the select and hold the button, then I get a pink note. We're gonna show this of course here. So if I go now the note stance, I'm gonna play my normal white notes, I'm gonna play my normal red notes. But if I now hold and press the select button when there's about a note to happen, you will see that I got this pink note now. I can't hold and keep this going the entire time. You need to press it every time, as you see here. But every time you do, you can play multiple pink notes in a row. And with these, you can extend the possible combos and buffs you can give for yourself and the team. So this is very helpful. So let's test this out, shall we? So let's play one of the extended songs. We have white note. Then we need a pink note. Then we need a green note, which is main attack. And then we need, yeah, as you can see here, we get cold cancel. And yes, you can also still play the double music thing if you just tap the select button in the normal stance. I think I can't do right now, but I can show it still. There we go. You can still do the normal double music play just fine, but you have the addition of holding the button now to get pink notes. Keep that in mind. And then we can just go over to Extreme Style. See you in a bit. Alright, here we're back with Extreme Style. Why is Extreme Style so popular, you ask? Well, Extreme Style is a high mobility focused style which allows you to run with your weapon unsheathed. To do this, you just need to double tap the directional button to whatever direction you're going for. But as soon as you do that, you can run with your weapon unsheathed, which is very helpful in mid of combat to keep the combat flow going and attack the monster, chasing it while it's like running away, doing certain moves. And you can also easily like run away and get out of attacks from a monster, which is very neat. And the addition is also that in this running you usually get also special attacks, which depends on the weapon type. The running itself also depends on the weapon, because the speed which you run is depending on your weapon. If you have a heavier weapon, then the running will be, well, slower of course, but if you have a lighter weapon like SNS, you will be way faster than running someone with a hammer. Unfortunately though, the hunting horn has only one attack in the extreme running, and that is a double swing forward. It is very quick though, so you can in middle of combat just run around, stay safe, play music from somewhere, go back into combat, swing in, and then attack. And the cool neat thing is that normally when you go into the new attack from Heaven Style, the new main and side attack button, stab, you normally have this wind-up animation where you swing your weapon over your shoulder and then go into the stabs. If you go from extreme running though, and press the main and side attack button after the swings, you can directly go into the stabs and skip the animation, which is normally the over-the-shoulder charge up, which is very helpful to get quickly into the DPS there. This is like a combo I can highly suggest to you. Then we also got back Boof, the normal main and side attack smash from Earth Style, and the Sonic Bomb move. So if I press now the kick button or select button, then we will do the Sonic Bomb as normally. And if I press now main and side attack button too, we will do the smash we know from before, just as normally. To access like the stab animation, you just need to do a directional input forward with the main and side attack button pressed simultaneously, as you can see here. Then you can just use Boof as your heart's content with the limitation of only having one. So Extreme Style is technically the fully upgraded version of the hunting horn and the ultimate moveset, because you have everything from everywhere in here. You keep the pink notes, you have the new movesets, and you have everything that the hunting horn normally won't have in the other styles combined in this one. Then we have a new mechanic for extreme style on the hunting horn, and that is the debuff wave, or the sonic wave that can be applied to monsters. Yes, you hear it right, you can debuff monsters. This is very limited, there's only 3 debuffs whatsoever, but you have the possibilities, and it helps tremendously when you fight in the group, especially because you can weaken the hit zones of a monster, for example. The 3 debuffs are very simple. You need to play 2 similar notes, like the same notes. As you can see here, the 2 purple notes have this rectangular shape behind them, background. This means that the debuff sonic wave is ready. The double purple song is a raw hitbox debuff, so you soften the hitbox for raw damage if you apply this debuff. You can only have 1 at a time, so you can play and get another one here. So if I get double pink note now for the other one, then you can see the background for the other one changes and gives me the other buff. The pink buff prevents the monster from running away, so you can keep a monster to stay in a certain area, so you don't need to chase it all the time. And the last debuff is any other note beside pink or purple combinations, and you get the elemental soften buff, which is the same as the raw hitbox change, just for elemental. So this is very helpful. To get the sonic wave though, you need to do a little bit of work, and that is just hitting the monster. As the more you hit the monster, you will see that the hunting horn icon you see on the resource bar sheath will change gradually from white to red, and when it's fully loaded up, it will blink red, as you see by me right now. And if that is happening, then you can store up the notes and get the buff you want, the debuff you want, and apply it. This also at the same time triggers sonic wave attack, so you can have the sonic bomb effect on top of that. So certain monsters react to sonic bombs very allergically, you know that. So you can keep playing aggressively, get the sonic debuff on from like a Naruga Cougar charging. You just sonic bomb him, debuff him the same time, and then can just go over into DPS because he's obviously on the ground disabled from the sonic bomb effect, and then the debuff on top of it increasing your damage. Very neat combinations you can do here. And of course they're gonna showcase this. We have a Yen Cuckoo on this island, and let me just go and find him real quick. One thing I didn't mention is if you use the extreme running, I've nearly forgot that, is that you use stamina, because this counts as a normal sprinting move, so keep that in mind. So here we are now with the Cuckoo, and if you now press the select or the kick button when having this debuff sonic wave ready, then you will just apply it. You need to be in range, I'm pretty sure, for that, so keep that in mind, and it hits in front of you. I'm not sure if it's 360 degree around you, but as you can see here, we just hit the Cuckoo and it has this debuff going. Very neat, very handy, and I just like the idea here that you can use the hunting horn not only like defensively and supportively anymore, but also more aggressively and helpful while being more aggressive and getting a bit more damage out of it. But that's it. That's the extreme style already. The hunting horn doesn't have too much variety in like its aggressive damage movesets, etc. It's focused on like the music mechanic a lot, but it is definitely then not a weapon that should be underestimated. If you have some good practice with this weapon and know how to use it effectively, then you can do some serious damage and runs with this weapon. I see you back in the city, and we're gonna go over the last part of the video. Alright, back in the city now, we're gonna talk about the active feature and the tech skills for the hunting horn, because the sigils don't have anything significant beside motion value increases, so nothing I need to really mention. But before we do that, let me tell you that you can buy at the general store lady. In the second section, the books, combo box and monster items, you find the HH info sheath, which you can buy. This can you buy directly in the first time, and then when you got this, you can go to your house, and then at your house at the bookshelf you can then see under hunter info, hunting horn music, and there you have like information about the songs and what the effects they have, and it's a really good way to see the different combinations. So this is one way, but as you see, it's not translated. I think it is translated in the latest version. I'm not sure because I'm running a different translation patch right now, and that is like a place where you can look up, but you can obviously also still just use Farias as normally. So keep that in mind if you just wanna check out the node setups and what buffs you can apply. Farias has it all translated, so that is probably easier to use. Check that out if you're interested. Just keep in mind that you can at some point just check in-game without going the other way around with the Farias. Then we're gonna go over the active feature first. The active feature you can see on the top left, where it says active feature, very obviously, where it has these icons. If one of these icons is red, like for me all the weapon types right now, that weapon type gets a buff for 24 server hours. And these buffs are different for each weapon type and help out with boosting your weapon a little bit and yeah, give you a little edge if you want to optimize a run or struggling with something and need this like little extra oomph to get through a quest. For Hunting Horn, this is very simple. You just have the melody or the note, the music buff duration doubled, which is very helpful if you combine this with Hornmaster skills, so you have like very long buffs and don't need to apply them that often and can keep on going longer in the fight without worrying about that and keep focusing on DPS instead of buffing up all the time. Then we have the tech skills, lastly but not least, and the tech skills are very compound skills tailored to each weapon type. Each weapon type has its own tech skill and they have some base skills they share, and then they have very specific skills that are only applying to that weapon type and that's specific tailored for it. If you do some weapon sets for a specific weapon, these are the top priority skills you probably want to have first, and it has 4 positive versions where one of that is hidden and then 1 negative version. The negative version is usually a damage decrease with that weapon type when using it, so not that much to mention. And then we have the normal expert level, the master level, and then every like max level of the skill has a fancy name, which in case of Hunting Horn will be the Rhythm Prodigy. And then we have the hidden one, but the hidden one is a very specific version or upgrade of the tech skill, which can only activate with specific conditions. You need a specific armor set you need to use and have in your equipment box to activate this. So it's not really worth it because in melee weapons it just gives you sharpness +1, which is way easier to acquire it over other methods and not worth the limitations here. So we're gonna focus on the other ones. We have first the expert level, which gives you the fencing skill when using hunting horns. Then we have the master level, which gives you 10% more damage with hunting horns and the fencing skill. And then the last level, the Rhythm Prodigy, will give you super high grade earplugs, 20% more damage, you keep the fencing skill, and you can play the notes way faster. So 34% faster note acquisition, so you can keep playing songs back to back way faster in combat, which helps a lot with buffing up quicker. And then in combination with the active feature or Hornmaster or something, you will have some good time and not need to worry about this little buffing minigame, which maybe some of you are scared of or underestimating it. They are like, oh yeah, I'm wasting time playing buffs, why will I do that, right? But it can help a lot, and especially if you play multiplayer, these buffs can help out your team to stay alive and survive, because you have all kinds of debuffs like HP regen or infinite stamina you can give, like the dash juice effect, or someone who has a dual sword or a heavy stamina consuming weapon, they will be more than happy having you on the group, trust me. And that's it for Hunting Horn video. I hope you enjoyed it. The other weapons will come as soon as possible, of course. I need to dive into them a bit, but I hope you enjoyed this one here. I see everyone in the next video. Have a wonderful evening, good night, or wherever you are, and I'm gonna see everyone in the next video. I love y'all, and I'm gonna see everyone in the next video. Good night, and bye-bye.